Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back to talk about these absolute ass clowns on Big Brother 27 after watching Mickey and Morgan. More so Mickey now getting on my nerves more than even Morgan, which is crazy to say. Never would have said this days ago. But this is where we are. The day came today where Mickey did do her big move of putting her ally, Jimmy, on the block. And first things first, I just want to say I've had some comments in my last couple videos about how Jimmy has done this to himself. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Jimmy has played some under the radar game being kind of shady. He's played a shady game. I have been saying this for days now. He has talked a lot, telling people's information to people maybe he shouldn't have. However, Mickey being the HOH to put him up just does not make logical sense for her game. But we're going to get into that more. I have more shit to talk about Mickey. I don't think I could stop the rest of the season talking shit about Mickey. That's how I feel about her. She is up there with Riley and Kat, and I guess Morgan too, of the people that I don't think could ever win me back in any way, shape, or form this season. Not after this week. Yesterday, Mickey was talking about how she felt it in her gut that Jimmy is the person that she needs to put up. The problem with that is that Mickey's gassy, so I think that actually might have been what was happening with her gut. And then she's saying she's gonna sleep on it and see what the faith brings to her, what God tells her to do. I don't think she's her prayers aren't working, first of all, and I don't think God told her to put up one of her allies in the game to look like a dummy. Last night she looked even like a bigger dummy when it seemed like she was pushing back at Morgan for a second. She was talking about putting up Vinny instead. But really, I think that was like a test of loyalty, where Morgan really stands in the game. Would she choose Vince and Zach over her? But like during that test, Morgan failed. She was crying about the Vinny going up on the block. So if that was a test of loyalty, I don't really understand how Morgan passed Mickey's test of loyalty, but I guess she did. So then she had Morgan bring up Zach and Vince so they can make a Final Four. Yes, another fake alliance, especially another fake alliance for Vince and even Zach with all their many alliances. Morgan too now. But before all of this, Ashley was trying to get in the room. They kicked her out, even though they then let Keanu in to talk. And then Ashley later sees that Vince and Zach are up there. It was pretty obvious what those four were doing. And people have been clocking these four all week now, thinking that's what Mickey wants to do. And I guess that is what Mickey wants to do. But in doing so, she has now pushed aside her allies that she's been working with the whole game, like Ashley and Will, to be on the bottom of a four-person alliance. Like, even if this alliance was real, she is pushing away people she's been working with all game to be on the bottom of a four-person alliance. Every time I think Mickey can't get more dumb, she does. At the same time last night, Riley was crashing out and Ashley was being her great self, being a troll, trying to make him crash out more. Like, I love Ashley for that. It caused some tension between Riley and Kat for sure. Like, Ashley is the only person this season to even make Kat and Riley a little interesting. This is the second time she's caused some infighting with the Hick and the Hick lover. It was very awkward though, and it was more of Riley being aggressive, trying to. He goes between being aggressive and being a victim all day long, back and forth, and it's working on this house. Don't really understand why, but I'm so sick of watching it. every time Ashley's making progress, though, and she made progress with Riley in that conversation. After that conversation, Riley seemed more trusting of Ashley, despite the fact that Ashley was trolling him the whole time. But every time Ashley does make progress, Zach kind of screws her over. And I don't get Zach's obsession with making Ashley look bad in the house. But I don't think Ashley's social game could ever get over the hump with Zach in the house, because Zach later pretty much, once again, killed Riley's vibe towards Ashley. Zach continues to be Ashley's biggest op in that house, and she still doesn't realize it, unfortunately. Now, getting to today, Mickey indeed put up Jimmy, like I said, as the renom. And her reasoning is very logical, as we've talked about for days now. But more so, her comments today are having people questioning if she's being homophobic towards Jimmy, with the whole he didn't make faith-based decisions in this game, and that this nomination was a faith-based decision. And that kind of talk, especially from someone from the South, a religious person from the South, it seems very homophobic. I'm not going to argue in defense of Mickey. I have no reason to argue in defense of Mickey for the rest of the game as it is. But especially in this situation, it is very odd to say this when she puts her once close ally, who happens to be the only gay guy in the house, on the block. It was a bad look to be talking about that when it is Jimmy that she's nominating. And just her praying in general, as I stated at the top of this video, I hate it. And this has nothing to do with religion. I am faithful myself. But people who bring religion into stupid stuff like games are weirdos. Mickey is a weirdo. All the praying she's been doing in this game, and by the way, none of it's worked, but all the praying she's been doing in this game, acting like Big Brother is God's priority, as if God doesn't have way bigger prayers to answer. You know, little Timmy has cancer. His parents are praying for Timmy. And then there's Joe, who's homeless, praying to find somewhere warm to be. And there's Grandma Helen, who just had a stroke, and people are praying for her to recover. And then there's Mickey praying about Riley needing to win a veto for her and Riley in the Big Brother house. And you think that's going to be God's priority? Like, shut the hell up. Just stupidity. And then the gall of Mickey. She was expecting Jimmy to apologize after being put up on the block for basically for not having Keanu come after him, and instead being more upset at Mickey and Morgan when that was Jimmy playing his social game. And does Jimmy do a bad job of throwing some allies under the bus? Yes. But to expect Jimmy to throw himself under the bus to Keanu makes no sense. So I'm glad Jimmy did not apologize to Mickey. And I'm glad that Jimmy is ignoring Morgan all day today. He is paying her nothing. And he's vibing with everyone else today, but not Morgan. It is what Morgan deserves. Furthermore, though, where Mickey is concerned, expecting Jimmy to apologize for pushing away allies to work with enemies, that's literally exactly what Mickey is trying to do on this HOH. And I don't know if she realizes her hypocrisy. Probably not, because the weirdo faithful people usually don't. Anyway, Mickey and Riley did celebrate after the renom. And during the celebration, Mickey and Riley were kind of all up on each other. And I do believe the conspiracy theory that she wants Riley. That she might just be attracted to someone that looks like his parents are cousins that procreated to make him. That comment in the first episode about how he looks like Brad Pitt, I thought that was production trying to make her say something stupid. But I think that was a real comment. I think it is. And all that I get from this Riley and Mickey relationship is that Southern people are very weird. You know, I side eye Southerners as it is until proven otherwise. But now, looking at how Mickey has treated her once ally in Jimmy in comparison to Riley, who was cussing her out, it's weird. Mickey is weird. But I will say, Mickey might at least have one good read this week, and that is that Riley might keep her safe, at least for now. But in that same conversation, she told Riley that she doesn't trust Kat yet. So I don't know if that was a smart thing to tell Riley, who wants to overly protect Kat in his aggressive ways. And I don't think Kat will ever work with the black women in the house. I really don't think that. She is a weirdo in her own right. However, I do think Rachel might be able to win over Kat in the long run. I know they had their stupid little fight on the episode last night, which, by the way, neither of them ate in that confrontation. All that proved to me is how lame some of the fights in Big Brother are in comparison to other reality TV shows. But Rachel has been trying to put in some groundwork into getting that weird little showmance on her side. It's very odd that she keeps comparing Riley to Brendan. I hope Brendan feels some kind of way on the outside, because if Brendan is comparison to Riley, yikes. But Jimmy did not give an over-the-top reaction to being the renom. I mean, it's probably because he didn't have time to have a rehearsed read like he usually does. But now he really needs to win the blockbuster. I don't think Jimmy can win a vote against Riley. I do think he has a shot against Callie. Right now, he and Rachel and even Will and Ashley are on board to keep him, while Rachel, Will, and Ashley are on board to keep him this week. But that's only 3 votes. They might be able to pull an Ava. In fact, Will and Ashley want that to be the new alliance, and that would be the best alliance of the season. If the one real alliance of the season could be Rachel, Jimmy, Will, Ashley, and Ava, I mean, that's the 2 people I'm rooting for working together, Ashley and Ava. I mean, I would eat that up, because the rest of the season is hard to eat right now. It's giving me a stomach ache, and I don't know how much more feeds I can take. But I'm very glad that Will and Ashley are over Mickey and Morgan, as they should be. As I stated earlier, they were very obvious in kicking Ashley out of the room all the time. Mickey has become very obvious that she doesn't listen to Ashley at all, despite Ashley having about 20 times better reads than Mickey does, and about 30 times bigger reads than Morgan does. And that is with Ashley not even having as much information as them. But also Will, I'm glad that he's also clocking that Mickey does not really give a shit about his opinion either. Although I will say I don't think Will really pushed for an opinion this week. But today, Will actually did play the game a little bit and was playing a social game up with Mickey, as if he's still going to vote the way Mickey wants him to. But he and Ashley have already discussed keeping Jimmy no matter what. We'll see how the week plays out, but good for Will and Ashley. So with Mickey, the one thing I've said about her all season is that she has a good social game, because, her strategizing, not so much. But the way her social game has gone these past 2 weeks, giving away too much information to people like Adrian and even Kat, who she still wants out today, she's saying. She still wants Kat out soon. Kat has to be out. But, she could have put Kat on the block this week and tried to get her out. But if she's now making the allies she's been working with for 4 weeks feel some kind of way about her, that is not a good social game. So I can't even say that Mickey has a good social game anymore. So she's had a really dumb strategic week. Her social game sucks. Her entire week was her to get on the bottom of a 4-person alliance. Yeah, Mickey is not giving good social game, not giving good strategy. What is she giving? I think she's just giving like weird pseudo religious person. That's about all she's giving. Another good thing that came out today, though, is that Zach is finally being clocked. Rachel and Jimmy are clocking that Zach was a big part of what happened last night because they were all up in that HOH room. And also, Zach is having a hard time looking at Rachel today, and Rachel's been clocking that. So it's good to see Zach's game get clocked because I think his game is very overrated, and I will continue to think that. Even Callie is pretty upset with Zach. Callie told Vince that she wants to put up Zach if she wins HOH. We'll see what Vince does with that information. But good to see even Callie might be on to Zach. I mean, we see in the episode she's more upset with Vince, but on feeds right now she seems to want, or she and Kat find Zach sketchy. And that's why I think Zach is literally only in a good position because of some of the crushes on him in the game. Of course, Morgan being the most pathetic one at her big age because she hasn't been in a relationship for 9 years. I wonder why. Maybe because she's cuckoo and has... I'm going to be nice to Morgan today because I have enough vitriol for Mickey. I will get Morgan in the future. But back to Zach's game, the fact that he still is telling Vince that he wants Ashley out before people like Kat who want Zach out tells me that Zach does not have a good game sense either, which I've been saying all week. I think he has a good social game because of the flirting and because of the crushes. But where the game is concerned, I respect Vince's game way more. Yes, Vince's game is completely out in the open that he's just trying to game everyone with his one-on-ones. But at least he plays the game every single day to try and make those relationships work. I said if he's going to play that way, he has to play that way every day because that's the pace he's setting. So far, he's keeping up with it despite it being obvious, I guess. If Jimmy could actually keep trying to like work on Keanu to get Keanu to keep him this week, it's possible only for the fact that Keanu, much like Morgan and Mickey apparently, really want to work with men and men only. That has been Keanu this entire game. He loves to listen to men. But overall, I think Keanu's actually had a great week for once. So many different targets are on the rise, probably before him. The only person right now that might still target Keanu is Zach if he wins HOH. But Zach might make a mess of it with the whole nominating Ashley thing. So we'll see. I still don't even know if Zach needs an HOH, but it is what it is. So the only good thing to come out of today is that Jimmy and Rachel and Ashley basically have that 4 o'clocked pretty good. Jimmy told Rachel today, some people let things slip when they don't mean to, because Vince told him today that we were expecting fireworks when Jimmy was put up on the block. And of course, Jimmy says that he knows who we are because, quote, I crashed their party last night. It's Zach, Vince, Morgan, Mickey. So more pretty sloppy gameplay from those 4. So as I said, Will and Ashley have agreed they want Jimmy to stay no matter what. Ava is telling Mickey that if it's Jimmy and Riley, of course she's not going to keep Jimmy over Riley. But she also vented to Mickey about how Kat is just so protected from Riley because Riley is obsessed with her. I think Ava will vote. Well, Rachel needs to have like some really good game conversations with Ava. And Ava needs to clock into the game more in general. Like when Ava clocks into the game, she has good reads and she clocks in pretty hard. But she doesn't clock in enough. So yes, I need Jimmy to stay, because if Jimmy goes, Ashley's target's on the rise soon. And for me, if both Jimmy and Ashley go soon, the feeds are completely unwatchable. What are we gonna watch? Are we gonna watch the horrid hillbilly creep on one feed, a girl who could barely form sentences on another in Lauren? We got Beavis and Butthead, Mickey and Morgan up there hyping each other's bad cringe games. It's bad news. Jimmy's staying and winning HOH is best case scenario. I have doubts that's going to happen. I have doubts he's going to win the blockbuster. I could easily see Jimmy going this week. And I don't know what that does for the game, but I don't think it does anything good for the feeds. That's for sure. If Ashley goes anytime soon, I won't completely go with her, but my my videos are gonna go from like 7 to 10 updates a week to like 3, because the feeds will be pretty damn unwatchable. Ashley makes things so much more entertaining. As I said earlier, she even made Kat and Riley entertaining again last night, trolling them. So, to sum up, I guess, the day, Mickey and Morgan are super cocky right now, talking about how they could even put Ashley and Lauren as pawns going forward, but in the same breath saying that that will bring Ashley and Lauren closer to them. I just can't follow their logic. And the fact that they're getting cocky and the fact that they're getting comfortable, that's never good in games. So when you start getting too comfortable, that's usually when things blow up in your face. So I'm hoping and praying that happens, because they deserve it so much. However, this house is so dumb that as much as I would love to quote Spencer from Survivor and say, Mickey, 0% chance of winning the game, the house is dumb enough that she will probably be okay for a while, depending on who wins the next 2 HOHs. The worst thing going for Mickey and Morgan's games is how much they talk about the stupid jury and who they want in jury. Because once again, Jimmy is now confirmed to Rachel, even though Ashley has as well, that Mickey, Morgan, Vince, and Zach are always saying that Rachel needs to be the first person in jury. And Rachel going early to jury could be very bad. She might be the juror scorned. She's already said how she will do the opposite for Mickey and Morgan's games if they send her to jury early, after saying this the whole time. It's just not a good look. It's a stupid thing to say, and just talking about jury this much when jury is so far away, very dumb. And I also love the fact that Rachel told Vince today that they don't need to talk, when Vince tried to play his little check-in one-on-one game with her. I like the fact that Rachel did that, because Vince did some spiraling after. Vince's weakness in the game is that he spirals. And it's not that hard to make him spiral. That's when he starts to play even harder than he already does. So that's a pretty big weakness of Vince's. But let's see more weaknesses for Mickey, Morgan, Riley, and Kat. Because one of those 4 better go home next week. They got to get off these damn feeds, because they're pretty unwatchable for different reasons, but unwatchable nonetheless.